Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a little bit of light awaiting Moshiach. I'd like to dedicate um, tonight's talk in memory of my mother, whose yard site is tonight. Shalom Espas Yaakov Eliezer. May this be an aliyah. May this be an ascension for her neshama, for her soul. Many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with a person who was known as the Chafetz Chaim. His actual name was Rabbi Yisrael Meir Kagan. He passed away in 1933. He was a leader of the Jewish people in his time, and he became very famous for writing a work that dealt with the laws of Lashon Hara. Lashon Hara, it means evil tongue, evil speech, speaking badly about others, which is a Torah prohibition. And he compiled a work. He compiled all the laws that revolve around the prohibition against speaking Lashon Hara, what may a person not say, what may a person say. And it's been a work that has become very famous because this idea of guarding our tongue, being careful of how we speak, is a very, very important subject. It's a very common issue. And the Chafetz Chaim took it apart, and because and Rabbi Kagan became known as the Chafetz Chaim because of this work. And he wrote a number of other works regarding this concept of Lashon Hara, of speaking badly about others. And in his introduction to his work, Chafetz Chaim, which again was the work that he did of laying out the laws regarding the prohibition of speaking Lashon Hara, so he writes that if we think about it, there are a number of sins that have caused our gullus or exile to be as long as it is. And this is sourced in many places. But he says that primary amongst the sins that have caused us to be in the exile is this sin of Lashon Hara, speaking badly about others. And he explains because, for a couple of reasons. I'll share with you two reasons or two sources that he uses. The Talmud in Yuma says that the second Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, the second temple was destroyed, because of the sin of sinas chinam, of unwarranted hatred. How did that hatred manifest itself? So the Chafetz Chaim explains, and he sources this, that the sinas chinam, this hatred amongst the Jewish people, then was manifest in Lashon Hara, in speaking badly about one another. So if Lashon Hara was the cause, or the primary cause, of the destruction of the second Beis Hamikdash, the second temple, which is the exile that we're in right now, if this is what put us into exile, then if we're going to get out of exile, we definitely need to rectify that. If this sin put us in exile, then surely it will keep us in exile. And therefore, this is something that if we want to bring the exile to its close, want Moshiach to come, we're awaiting Moshiach, then we need to work on improving and rectifying this sin of speaking badly about others. He also cites a medrash that says, Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, said, B'olam hazeh, in this world, al yedei shaya lashon hara beinechem, because there was lashon hara amongst you, silakti shechinah mibeinechem, I removed my divine presence from your midst, which means my divine presence was not as apparent as it used to be. And so clearly the Medrash says, what caused that to happen? And when Hashem, and this expression that my divine presence left, that's exile. And the Medrash says that Hashem says, what caused it? Because there was Lashon Hara amongst you. And then we have a pasuk at the end of the Torah, a verse at the end of the Torah, in Parashas Vazos HaBracha, that reads, Vayhi Bishurin Melech. He, referring to God, became king over Yeshurun, which is another name for the Jewish people. Bisasef Rashe'am, when the numbers of the nation gathered, Yachat Shiftei Yisrael, the tribes of Israel in unity. And the commentary of Rashi explains that when does Hashem become king in Yeshurun? When Yachat Shiftei Yisrael, when the tribes of Israel are united. When we're united, that is when Hashem is our king and manifests as our king, which is what's going to happen when Mashiach comes. But what has to be there is yachad. There has to be unity. And when we speak lashon hara about each other, that is the greatest separator. That is the greatest source of lack of unity amongst the Jewish people. And therefore, the Chavetz Chaim says in his introduction, so it's really, that's why he wrote this work, because of its importance of working on this sin, and not only a sin, it's almost a character trait. And there's so much about character that goes into why we speak lashon hara and what we need to do to prevent speaking ourselves from speaking lashon hara. And therefore, with this, I would like to say that for future episodes, we are going to devote time in talking about this very important subject of how to control ourselves and how to rectify the sin of speaking lashon hara. Because if we truly await Moshiach, then this is what we need to work on. This is what we need to do. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos.